Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to look at circulation to digestive organs to start. Uh, Digestive organs, that includes things like the stomach, the intestines, throw in the liver and pancreas. Um, I guess I should also say just abdominal organs in general. I'm going to include the spleen in here too. What all these have in common is that they all, the spleen, the intestines, the stomach, all their blood can be filtered through the liver. So we have a special, it's called a portal system. We have a special portal system. A portal system is where you have capillaries in sequence, two sets of capillaries in sequence. Normally, it's just artery, capillary, vein, but here we're going to have artery, capillary, vein, capillary, vein. So you're going to have two sets of capillaries. There are other portal systems. We have portal systems in the kidneys. We have portal systems in from our hypothalamus to pituitary. We'll get to those later. But let's take a look here. All right. So let's get to the digestive system first. And let's show the simpler pathway, just going to the liver. Starting in the left ventricle, off the left ventricle, ascending aorta, aortic arch, descending aorta, all the way down here. And then we reach this branching point. That's the celiac trunk. That's the celiac trunk. Celiac trunk, short, wide branching blood vessel. And the celiac trunk branches a bunch. The one branch that we'll talk about right now is this branch right here. That is the hepatic artery, the common hepatic artery. Common hepatic artery directly gives blood to the liver. Branches, we have our capillaries here. The capillaries in the liver, if you recall, are sinusoid capillaries. Sinusoid capillaries are special. They have an incomplete basement membrane. The cells aren't immediately up against each other, so you can get high exchange of nutrients, toxins, proteins, stuff like that, larger things. And then we can return blood from the hepatic vein to the inferior vena cava to the right atrium. So relatively basic, because compared to the others, it's much simpler. So that's one pathway to the liver. Left atrium, aorta, celiac trunk, common hepatic vein, artery, sinusoid capillaries, common hepatic vein, inferior vena cava, right atrium. I'm going to clear that. So that's one pathway. Another pathway to the liver is indirectly. We can go from the left ventricle, aorta. Once we get to that celiac trunk, there are a few things we can do. That celiac trunk not only goes directly to the liver. This one here is the gastric artery. The stomach would be right here. It's not shown here because we had to remove these organs. We have the gastric artery going to the stomach. We have this one here going to the spleen. So this is the splenic artery. Yeah, gastric, splenic. And also down here, you know what, I'll just start talking about these first. Gastric or splenic will go to arteries of the stomach or of the spleen and capillaries. When we get to the from the stomach and spleen, then we'll branch not straight to the inferior vena cava. Our next direction is directly to the liver. This pathway from the spleen to the liver or stomach to the liver, the common vein that's leading to the liver in this case is called the hepatic portal vein. It's not the same thing as hepatic vein. We've gone from the stomach or spleen to the hepatic portal vein to the liver and its sinusoid capillaries, and then from the liver to the hepatic vein. So it goes hepatic portal vein, sinusoid capillaries, and then hepatic vein. So we've got capillaries in these organs, hepatic portal vein, sinusoid capillaries, hepatic vein. Two sets of capillaries, that's a portal system. We're filtering out anything that we might have absorbed in the spleen or stomach that needs to be filtered out, whether it's nutrients or most likely toxins in this case. Nutrients we don't really absorb in our stomach. That's one way to get to the liver indirectly. If you want to go through the intestines, Again, left ventricle, out, down. To get to the intestines, it's not through the celiac trunk. You have to keep going. You can go through this artery right here, or this one down here. These are the superior and inferior mesenteric arteries. Mesenteric is referring to the intestines. The mesentery is the connective tissue that's holding the intestines together, the serous membrane that's been fused together. So the mesenteric arteries, that's right here. So we'll be going to those intestines, and then in the intestines is where we have special fenestrated capillaries. Fenestrated means you have small pores, not as big as sinusoid capillaries, but they're large enough to let nutrients in. So we go from the fenestrated capillaries of the intestines. I can spell. Fenestrated capillaries of the intestines to the hepatic portal vein. Then from the hepatic portal vein to sinusoid capillaries. And then from sinusoid capillaries to the hepatic vein to the inferior vena cava. So here's our capillaries in the intestines, and then hepatic portal vein, capillaries again, and then back around. That is our hepatic portal system. It allows us to filter nutrients and toxins, anything that we can absorb. Our liver is acting as like our TSA. We want to make sure we inspect anything before it gets to the rest of our body. We don't want things that are accidentally absorbed to do damage to our body. Let's take a quick look at, gone over liver and splenic and gastric and mesenteric. Let's take a quick look at renal and adrenal. Coming around left ventricle, aorta, go past the celiac trunk, go past the superior mesenteric artery. Here is the renal artery. This is the left renal artery. The right renal artery is hiding under here. We'll be talking about the kidneys soon, and the kidneys get a little more complicated, but there is also a portal system in the kidneys, so I'm going to try to blow that up right here. So here's a really large kidney. Renal artery comes in. That's our renal artery. The renal artery will branch a bunch. I'm not going to test you on those branches, but we'll eventually get to what's called glomerular capillaries. Glomerular, glomerular capillaries. They're fenestrated. They're fenestrated to allow for filtration of larger molecules, but not too large. We don't want proteins to exit. We don't want red blood cells to exit. We don't want urine in our blood. So here we have our glomerular capillaries, and then we branch to an arteriole, and then we go to more capillaries. And then we go eventually back to veins. So capillaries, two sets of capillaries. This is a portal system. And here's our renal vein to the inferior vena cava and back out. There's a renal artery. There's also an adrenal artery to the top, the gland sitting on top of the kidneys. There's also an adrenal artery. It's not a portal system, but you have adrenal arteries there, fenestrated capillaries, because it's an endocrine gland. There's one more portal system, and we're actually going to switch pictures here over to the brain. The other portal system is from the hypothalamus to the pituitary. It's called the Hypophyseal portal system. Hypophyseal portal system. So coming up from the internal carotid, so let's say it doesn't really matter which side, let's say left internal carotid, which came from the left common carotid, which branches off of which branches off of the aortic arch. From the left internal carotid, there will be more branches, and those branches eventually lead to this superior hypophyseal artery. And that's leading to, you can see this is the base of the brain, this is the hypothalamus. If you're unsure where we are in the brain, this is the anterior side. So like, well, yeah, here's the anterior side. The corpus callosum is going to be somewhere over here. Cerebellum is going to be back here. The brainstem is over here. So anterior, posterior, superior, inferior. Right, so here's that artery delivering blood to the hypothalamus. And when we get here to the hypothalamus, we get a branching. There's capillaries here. So here's our first set of capillaries. It's so that when the hypothalamus secretes its hormone, it goes in these capillaries that then go straight to the anterior pituitary. This is the anterior pituitary, the true endocrine gland. The posterior pituitary is just an extension of the hypothalamus. The anterior pituitary, hormones get delivered, and then there's another set of capillaries here. So two sets of capillaries. Capillaries in the hypothalamus. We pass through the infundibulum to the posterior pituitary, or excuse me, anterior pituitary, where we have more capillaries so that those hormones can exchange. And then these endocrine glands, these endocrine cells, eosinophils, basophils, can secrete their hormones into the bloodstream, and then it goes to the rest of the body. That is the hypophyseal portal system. So 3 portal systems that we've discussed: the hepatic portal system, the kidneys, renal portal system, and the hypophyseal portal system, all for different purposes. Digestive, livers for digestion, storing nutrients, getting rid of toxins. Hypophyseal is for secreting hormones, and the kidney is for filtration. The one thing that the kidney and hypophyseal have in common, they're using fenestrated capillaries. With the liver, liver is using sinusoid, but the digestive system, the intestines, the mesenteric branches also use fenestrated capillaries. Okay, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope that helped. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.